12 money habits that keep you poor. Welcome to the channel for future millionaires. Everybody wants to be rich, however, some individuals act in ways that make it challenging. Luckily, if you can identify and correct these destructive behaviors, you can improve your living and gain true wealth. In this video, I'll share 12 money habits that keep you impoverished with you. 1. Investing in things that you want but don't require. We are significantly harming our futures whenever we spend every day, as most of the stuff we buy is not essential for our existence to prosper. We want and save as much cash as possible, or even a few weeks without wasting money can make a big difference. Sometimes people will defend their impulsive buying by claiming that they deserved the product or it is a necessity rather than a desire. Secondly, putting this impulsive buying on a credit or debit card could result in the person who paid for the product despite having the means to repay the expense. Lastly, such haphazard expenditures make sticking to your plan far more complex. You have to be able to distinguish between wants and needs. It may seem odd, but wasting money on stuff you don't need will lower your credit score. If you want to start putting money more frequently, try incorporating just a few no-expense times or no-expense weeks into one's life. All those are days because you only have to worry about paying your bills and having anything to eat for the evening meal, and you cannot spend cash on anything else. 2. Relying on a stroke of luck. Those continually in debt think that fixing their circumstances will require a financial miracle. You won't be able to even get out of debt by hitting the lottery. No one will be able to save you. Each day, all high earners do is concentrate their energies on increasing their chances of earning more profit. Poor individuals entrust this possibility to the world and thus their destiny. Whenever you stop crafting your destiny, you end up with what's left over. Manage yourself and your surroundings until you can foresee the future. You will not need fortune after you've gained control. Wealthy individuals do not believe in coincidence and do not require it. They work hard. So, rather than hoping for magic, start reading your invoices and creating a schedule. Set up monthly plans to keep up to date, pay all incoming bills every month, and realize that while you're in poverty, you're someone who suffers. 3. No proper budget plan. How can one realize how much money you're making, consuming, and preserving if you will not have a spending plan? It is pretty hard to achieve your investment targets without the need for a procedure. A strategy is about understanding how much money you make to create expenditure goals and maybe save income. Simply being aware of whatever you're paying can assist you to consume less, and you're more aware of it. How could you expect things to get better in your life? It would help if you had a monthly spending plan in place to see where your spending is increasing or dropping. 4. Afraid of investment. If you have the proper knowledge, investing is the most effective strategy to grow your wealth. Wealthy people invest their money to improve their credit scores, but impoverished people are afraid to invest. They believe that they would lose all of their money if they invested. If you have money in the account, invest it in higher yielding investments instead of saving it. Banks strive to keep your savings for as little as feasible. It is how people can earn a living. As a result, don't save or keep your cash in the bank. It's one of the very few ways to make money. Investment has a certain amount of danger. However, without investing, you are unlikely to reach your financial objectives. 5. Buying things you can't afford. The first step is to quit desiring things right now. Instead, purchase only when you can manage it. Have you bought anything but don't use it? We've all bought something that makes us wonder, oh, why did I acquire that? Such expenditures can be highly costly, although they may appear to be minor. You might have quadrupled your money in 10 years if you had invested $10. This may not appear to be a large sum, but when you total up all the useless expenditures and investment gains, it may quickly add up. 6. Having a single income source. Having a primary source of revenue is a fact of life for the majority, and this money is typically in the shape of a paycheck. Sadly, occupations might not be as safe as most people believe. Consider yourself like a tree whenever it comes to earning potential. Do branches only have one unit that produces? The answer is simple, no. Blooms and fruit are multiplied by several components. You can, too. You must continue developing and acquiring new ways of making your business successful for you. It is a sensible and secure method of assisting you in getting to sleep. Let's suppose the only person in the family is earning, while the rest don't have any income. In other words, they will use the money to pay bills, rent, buy clothes, and food, among other things. As a result, all of the money will be squandered instead of saved. 7. No long-term goals. You've reached the stage when you have no long-term ambitions and entirely rely on your intellect. If you have a long-term objective, you will work hard to achieve it. Your aspirations will pique your interest. If you plan to buy a property in the next 5 years, you'll be considering a variety of options. You'll be striving in every way imaginable. You're more inclined to be careless with your income if you don't have any objectives. You have no motive to consume less or save more if you don't have any ambitions. That's a lot simpler to convince yourself, I'm never looking to purchase that because I need to put the funds toward my debts, when you have precise, intended objectives. Primary goals offer you a purpose to think about how you spend all your money. 8. Paying late bills. Paying late payments and rent negatively influences your credit card, which you may not be aware of. This is a never-ending loop from which you may never emerge, but you're also wasting time and money on late charges and negatively impacting your credit score. If you persist in paying late or miss payments for an extended period, you will utterly ruin your credit and waste money. Make a comprehensive list or calendar that will serve as a reminder of the last payment due date. 9. Avoiding your debt. Many people don't consider that once they're in debt, their debt will never leave them. Even if you declare bankruptcy, your student debt will not be discharged. It'll never go gone, and you won't be able to ignore it. Many users hire delay as a coping method for significant situations such as massive debt. Clearing your debt faster is always a good idea since debt serves no function and can seriously affect your potential economic plans. It would help if you did everything to pay back your obligations as quickly as possible. It could be a few months for you, but it could be a few years for others. Debt isn't enjoyable, so don't escape it. 10. Spending money and time in vain. Do you want to be wealthy? Each day, following this financial guidance, invest time in creating than in consuming. One of the most precious things you have in life is your leisure. We trade skills and experience for money when we get a job. However, it is easy to establish or have already the tendency not to appreciate your time. Taking out assessments is a perfect example of not respecting the value of your time. Whereas a small amount of money may appear appealing, consider what you'd be doing anyway. If you genuinely want to generate more money, you should use your time filling out surveys to improve your skills and experience. Your most valuable asset is your time. It could be used to construct something and to learn new things. You can't afford amusement whether you're broke. You can't be spending time as it's the most expensive endeavor available. Your most valuable commodity is your leisure. 11. Not saving for future. One of the most common mistakes, especially among young people, is not preserving enough money for retirement. We are significantly damaging our futures whenever we spend the capital each day, as most of the stuff we buy isn't needed for our lives to prosper. A day you'd like to resign, right? So, what else do you need to do to retire? Of course, you're saving. We need and keep as much profit as possible, and even a few days without spending money can make a big difference in the long run. Savings is always a smart thing, no matter how old you are. Since they're so concentrated on having a good time with their colleagues every other day, many people don't think about savings until they're at least 30. Unfortunately, this is a high-risk strategy. To have a safe future, you should start saving as soon as possible. 12. Getting stuck into the luxury inflation. You usually hope to have a stronger financial position when you get older than a youngster. Your income capacity can be affected by a good job, a promotion, or even natural market growth. The distinction between individuals who are successful in developing their money and those who are constantly struggling is how they manage their income and expenditure. It's attractive to invest these extra funds on a new home, a trip, or simply raising your daily expenditure, but it also could put you right back where you started. Sadly, living inflation is a standard element of generating more and advancing up the corporate ladder for most people, but it's only appropriate if you stay within your budget. This becomes troublesome as soon as it starts taking on debt to support a specific way of life. Preserve your essential financial independence by just spending how much you can manage. It's all about today. You're probably aware of negative habits, but what actions have you witnessed or observed that keep individuals poor? Please let us tell us in the comments. Thank you for watching.